Okay.
What happens when you get out?
I get to go live.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Moore County Board of Education. It is Monday, November 9th, and we're meeting here in the Union Pines High School auditorium. At this time, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that the board enter closed session to prevent the disclosure of confidential personnel information pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11, A1, A5, and A6, and General Statute 115C-319, and to consult with the board attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A3.
I second.
All right, motion by Vice Chair Thompson, second by Mr. Dennison. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we will now move into closed session, returning no later than 6:30 p.m.
Thank you.
I'll now call back into order this meeting of the Moore County Board of Education. I will now go to the Pledge of Allegiance led by Warren Price.
We need to approve agenda first.
Oh, nope, I skipped that, that's right. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chair, I move the agenda be approved.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Dennison, second by Mr. Weaver. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the motion carries. All right, now we'll go to hear Warren Price from New Century Middle School.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll next have a moment of inspiration from Miracle Kaiser, also a 7th grade student at New Century Middle School.
The title of this poem is Your Best. If you always try your best, then you will never have to wonder about what you could have done if you summon all your thunder. And if your best was not as good as you hoped it would be, you can still say, I gave today all that I had in me. Try your best.
Thank you to these fine students from New Century Middle School. We'll now go to Ms. Thompson for a moment of silence.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to ask that all of us, as we are just seeing changes in the county and state level all over the land, and we just want to keep the word unity in our thoughts this evening, so that we can all just come together and be united. Moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Typically, our monthly recognitions honor a certified staff member, a classified staff member, a volunteer, and a student, along with other special recognitions. Because of limits for visitors in our schools, we will temporarily suspend honoring volunteers until we are past the pandemic. The school board typically recognizes these honorees in person. In order to adhere to social distancing requirements and in an effort to keep our honorees and their families safe, we will be recognizing our honorees virtually and hope they are watching from home. Tina Husky from Sandhills Farm Life Elementary is this month's Engage, Inspire, Succeed certified staff honoree. Tina Husky teaches 5th grade math and science at Sandhills Farm Life Elementary. Mrs. Husky makes learning fun and engaging by incorporating technology and hands-on learning activities. Mrs. Husky is the 5th grade level chairperson and the chairperson for Sandhills Farm Life multi-tiered system of support and student support teams. Mrs. Husky works closely with her team to do whatever it takes to address the needs of the students. For the first quarter of the 2021 school year, she was responsible for both face-to-face students as well as Connect Virtual Academy students. She works tirelessly to get it done for the students at Sandhills Farm Life. She has been a true example of the school's new instructional vision, Trojans together, one step at a time. Congratulations, Mrs. Husky. Crystal Evans from Elise Middle School is this month's Engage, Inspire, Succeed support staff honoree. Crystal Evans serves as a brailleist and bus driver at Elise Middle School. While her job is primarily working with EC students, she constantly goes above and beyond to help all students at Elise in a multitude of ways. As a servant leader, she is always the first staff member to offer her services when her colleagues ask for help. She is one of the hardest working individuals in education and will never back down from any challenge. She serves as a model of the Bearcat Way. Congratulations, Mrs. Evans. And from the Community Learning Center at Pinckney, we have this month's Engage, Inspire, Succeed Student Honoree, Landon Burns. CLC at Pinckney is proud to present Landon Burns as the Engage, Inspire, Succeed Student of the Month. Landon is an 8th grade virtual student at CLC and has excelled in every way during remote learning. He has perfect attendance through Google Meets and also participates in a hybrid class where students are attending in person while he is virtual. Landon also participates in the PBIS program at the school by completing requirements for dojo points and earning incentives. He maintains an A average and goes above and beyond to engage his classmates, even though he cannot be physically present with them. Landon has exemplified what it means to adapt and overcome the unprecedented challenges that have been the hallmark of this school year. We are proud to have him as a student at Community Learning Center. Congratulations, Landon. That concludes our recognitions for the evening. We'll now go to, I didn't mention this, but Dr. Grimacy is not with us this evening because he was a bit under the weather. We now have the program highlight, which is Innovative Instruction at New Century Middle School. Dr. Locklear, will you be stepping in, or Ms. Gephardt?
Libby, you may want to mention he is online, though.
Yes, he is with us in spirit.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Grimacy, members of the school board. It is my pleasure tonight to introduce to you an innovative group who, under Tracy Metcalf, has just transitioned into a virtual learning period that is amazing. These teachers have stepped up to the plate, and I will say every day hit home runs with their students. They are amazing, they are innovative, they are exciting, they work hard and diligently, and I am so proud of our New Century teachers, and I'm going to have Tracy Metcalf come up, and she's going to introduce her wonderful, phenomenal team to you, and we've got a great video. It is just an amazing, exemplifies the work that they are doing.
Good evening, Dr. Grimacy from afar, Chair Carter, and members of the board. We're really excited to be here and share some of the things that we're doing. I have an awesome group of educators, the best in the land, I would tell you. Jessica Simmons is our band director. Morgan Brewster is a social studies teacher in the 7th grade. Ashley McVeigh teaches math in the 7th grade, and Sharice Jackson is our 8th grade ELA teacher. So I'm going to let them take it.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Simmons, and I am the band director at New Century. Tonight, I am here to showcase all the great things that are happening at New Century during these trying times. Next slide. First, I want to discuss the mind of a teacher. Before COVID, we were concerned about communication, technology as a tool, data, student engagement, building relationships, rigor and relevance, a growth mindset, and learning how to use Canvas. Next slide. Now in this COVID world, our brain has now had to make room for the following. As you can see, Canvas is our classroom, Power School and Syncing, synchronous learning, AB days, building relationships with students virtually, Flipgrid, Padlet, Google Meet, Zoom, modified lessons, Bitmoji, Canvas, authentic learning, and the list goes on and on. As you can see, we are very busy, and that's why Wednesdays are so important to us. We have time to meet and collaborate with colleagues. We analyze data, solve problems, and load assignments into Canvas. We are grateful for this time, and we hope that it continues. Despite all our obstacles, we are thriving at New Century. Our teachers have stretched themselves to teach in increasingly creative and innovative ways. Let's take a look at our highlight video so you can see the innovation for yourselves.
Welcome to New Century, home of the Centurions. We are excited to share our ideas and show you that we are not just surviving, but we are thriving.
Every teacher at New Century uses Canvas. Canvas allows students to complete assignments, access video tutorials, take notes, read articles, create a calendar, communicate with teachers, and more. It truly is the interactive tool that helps keep everyone on the same page. Teachers have jumped in and learned how to manipulate their Canvas pages to best fit the needs of our students. Here are a few examples, including a Bitmoji classroom and Canvas buttons.
I have my Bitmoji, which is a link to some information about me so the students can get to know a little bit about me. I have obviously these links here where this link will take them right to the module that they're working on in Canvas. They can also click on modules in the navigation pane, but here's a fun way, and this one will take them to the exact module that we're working on.
I changed that to these buttons. So every button is clickable. The kids can click on these and it will take them right to what they need. This is my 8th grade math course. So if I want them to see the schedule, because we're doing synchronous learning, then they can click on that and it gives them the codes and the times that the classes are meeting.
Flipgrid is a tool being used by several teachers. In band class, students create videos playing assigned music. Students are able to receive both written and video feedback about their performance. Here's an example. In Miss Jackson's ELA class, students use Flipgrid to perform original poetry they have written. Students have the option to share their work with the class and receive feedback from their peers.
Where I'm From by Kaylee Clendenin. I'm from the red and blue pottery bowls high in our cabins from Ski Grove, from coffee cups always lying around, and the tobacco pipes on our mantle.
Interactive worksheets allow students to collaborate in school and from home. Ms. Jackson's class read the novel Inside Out and Back Again. She shared the template with them, and they could work alone or with another student on the shared Google slide to analyze setting, characters, plot, symbolism, tone, and theme. This picture represents a collage of all the one-page projects that her students completed. In another assignment, 8th graders used the Google Doc template of a police report to investigate evidence, creatively change the ending, and write an objective summary as an instant report focused on the short story The Landlady by Roald Dahl. Not everything at New Century involves using a screen. We have lots of hands-on activities for our students while they are in person.
Ms. Green's classes use paper circuits to literally make their Halloween creations light up.
In Ms. Shea and Ms. McVeigh's math classes, students use food to learn about proportions and ratios. Ms. Vang's classes built roller coasters out of paper, while Ms. Oakley's classes built roller coasters out of straws. It looks like we might have some future engineers on our hands. We even have a fully functional weather station here at New Century. Let's check into Miss Lobby's class for the latest forecast.
Wreck it off, the tornado's on the way. Tornado warnings for following counties in Texas:
Collin County, Tarrant County, Erath County, and McLean County.
Oh, looks like we're getting some questions back at the station from Gage May. People are asking, what characteristics describe a tornado?
Wreck-It Ralph the tornado is a swirling column of air with a hollow core. Its swirling air contains trash and dust and is moving in an upward spiral at high speeds.
We currently use Google Meet to create virtual classrooms. We also use the message feature on Google Meet and another tool called Padlet to ensure that all students are comfortable participating in this virtual environment. Ms. McVeigh's class went a step further. She created math problems and, using the breakout room feature in Google Meet, paired up in-person students with virtual students to solve these problems. How cool is that? Students also participated in a math mystery where the entire class participated together to solve the crime. Creativity is the key to making synchronous learning a success, and we have plenty of that here at New Century.
We even have some virtual encores here at New Century. Pictured is a virtual band class. This allows students to practice at home and receive immediate feedback from their teacher.
As you can see, New Century Middle School is embracing innovative instruction. Indeed, NCMS is awesome.
Thank you for your time. Also, thank you to all the teachers who helped me assemble this video. We truly are a team at New Century. I would now like to open the floor to any questions.
All right, are there questions for the fantastic folks at New Century? Or comments?
I think, this is Stacy, sorry. Let me move this up here. You guys are doing an amazing job. my child doesn't go to New Century, but she's doing almost the exact same stuff that you're doing over there. And it's wonderful to see, and I appreciate all the hard work that you guys are doing. Thank you.
And I'm just going to ditto what you said, Ms. Caldwell. My children are at West Pine Middle, and I've seen a lot of the same type of technology being used. I do have a question about how the students and the staff, how did they embrace this technology? What was the learning curve like? And what challenges do you see ahead?
So I think one thing was if the staff were super enthusiastic about it, the kids were definitely super enthusiastic about it. And I know that all of my coworkers have worked hard to make sure it was accessible for the students, and that all the students understood what we were trying to, they understood what the resources were that we were using.
Also, we've used Canvas for several years, so that really wasn't as large of a transition as it may have been for schools that were just jumping right into it. So I feel like the teachers at our school were able to take a Canvas template and then really take it to the next level because we already had experience.
Thank you.
And what about?
But I will say that our community and our parents have been wonderful, and understanding that it's a learning curve for all of us, and just kind of growing with us as we're growing.
Thank you. My question is, as far as accountability for students' responses, have you gotten into any real issues with that?
I think the district supported us, and in letting our school improvement team as well figure out something that would work best for our teachers and our families. We have looked at accountability criteria several times. We think that we're improving it as we try to encourage our students to own their own learning and develop as young adolescents who are responsible for their own learning. So it remains something that's a challenge because we don't have access to our students in the building most of the week. You know, the most we see any of our students is 2 days a week. So I would say the parents have been wonderful about supporting us. The support personnel play a vital role, like our guidance counselors, our social workers. I cannot speak highly enough of them. They really are the glue that helps us as teachers make sure that we're not losing contact with our students, that they're still engaged. Our participation rates are very high. It's something that we're always working on, but we're really seeing a lot of improvement on that, and we're grateful for it.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Are you having any issues in your section of the county with internet connectivity as the children take their Chromebooks and go home? Or is that something that you're not finding makes a difference?
We do struggle with that in certain sections of our area where students don't have that reliable internet. Hotspots have certainly helped with that a lot. And then we're trying other workarounds. The Park and Learn has helped a lot of families because they can come and download that information. So it would be great if we could get them on because we are doing synchronous learning and we'd love to have them in there. But we've mitigated a lot of those internet issues.
I noticed they were sitting on the sidewalk out front with their laptops right there with them, so I know that we have good connectivity on campus, but that makes a difference when you go home.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, it looks like we asked and you delivered. Other questions or comments?
I'm just really impressed with how quickly students have picked up all these different technologies, although I shouldn't be so surprised given what they do on their smartphones. So I'm just really grateful for the effort that the staff have put into it and to ensure that really embracing the technology and finding ways to make it fun and engaging for our students. So just well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm looking at the age of all these teachers. That's a very young group of teachers standing over there. Yes. Yes. And I'm guessing that, you know, that the ability to work with electronics just comes very naturally to you because you've grown up with it, but
it's very helpful to us.
Yes. Some of us older ones don't take to it quite so quickly. So we do appreciate y'all helping one another where need be, but most especially helping our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we'll move to the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, move the consent agenda be approved.
Motion by Mr. Dennison,
Second.
second by Dr. Brown. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the consent agenda carries. At this time, we'll go to public address to the board. Vice Chair Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We do have our community, some from our community who have signed up this evening. And I just want to provide a couple of reminders that when your name is called, you will come down to the podium to provide your comments. There will be a counter showing for 3-minute time limit, and we ask that you adhere to our time. So at this time, I would like to call several of you, and if you can make your way to the right and just social distance and wait for the podium. Rolly Sampson would be first, followed by Ellen Marcus and Abby Marcus.
When you're ready, I'm ready.
You're ready.
Okay. Okay.
Get
I know.
directly into the
I'm used to being loud, right? So, members of the board tonight, it's just a pleasure to be here to see you. It's been a long time since I've gotten to come and stand here before you as a parent. I have 3 children who have graduated from Pinecrest High School. The last one graduated during COVID in what we have declared is the best graduation ceremony we ever attended, and that was from the older 2 students. Tonight, I just wanted to say some thanks to our board members who will be leaving. But I want to start first by congratulating Stacy Caldwell for being on the board again. As a military family member, I greatly appreciate the input and the commitment you've had to military families during your time here. A lot of people may not realize that you attend our military family advisory councils on a monthly basis and you listen to our input. So thank you for continuing to be a voice for military families. To John, way in the back, who has been on the board the shortest, but I don't know the best. I've really appreciated your thoughtfulness as a board member, and specifically being financially conservative. John, you reaching out to me, asking questions, taking the time to learn about where funding is coming from, how that funding is used, not just to educate yourself, but to make sure the school district was using it appropriately. As a parent and staff member, I appreciated that, so thank you for your time, and hopefully we will meet again. Let's see, back in the back, Betty? I know you're way back there. So I met Betty when she first started coming to board meetings, because like me, I was a parent, a community member attending board meetings trying to learn about funding, and that's how I met Betty. Since then, she's been a great board member. As a parent, she's been paid a lot of attention to our Sandhills Promise programs, our CTE programs. She's advocated for things like FFA and make sure students have other opportunities besides traditional 4 years college. And Helena, most people would tell you that I've known Helena forever, but that's not the case. Helena and I, same thing, met at board meetings. I have appreciated your service over the last, oh my gosh, I don't know how many years now. But mostly I appreciated that you inspired me during a time when I was a disgruntled parent. I had left teaching Moore County schools, and I didn't have a lot of hope in it. You helped me re-engage as a parent and helped change a lot of things that have improved stuff for all sorts of students. And just to wrap it up, because you know I can go on forever when the spirit moves me. I am a military family member. I understand what personal sacrifice and selfless service looks like. All of you have embodied it these last few years. I appreciate that. So from the bottom of my heart, I've been honored to serve with you, and I thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Hi, I had to pull up my notes. My name is Ellen Marcus, and I have 2 daughters.
One is a senior right now, and the other graduated 3 years ago, and she's a graduate now of UCSB. I understand that much of their grounding I cannot take credit for. It is the teachers, the administration, and board that have helped develop my children into just grounded, really good citizens. For years, I covered the meetings for Mr. Greg Hankins at the Seven Lakes Times before he passed away. And I have been so impressed how this board right here has united and has come together with a sincere common interest and goal of the betterment and well-being of every one of our children. It is truly a nonpartisan board. 16 years ago, my oldest developed asthma at Aberdeen Primary due to the mildew and poor air quality. Every new superintendent I would ask when they plan on addressing this old, sick building that no child should ever be in again. It was our current superintendent and this board that tackled the business of building the 4 new schools. The new Aberdeen Primary is a state-of-the-art, safe, clean building that these children have deserved for so long, and I thank you for that. I want to also thank you for facing all of our children's differences and loving them as a whole. I have children that have, they're young ladies now, young women, strong, and they've had special needs. And when we were told that one of my youngest, Abby, was dyslexic and she would have a hard time reading it, I called them the Mary Poppins of readings and of math that came together and saw that she was intelligent and she could do it. She just needed to process differently, and they reached her, and I thank you for that. And from the bottom of my heart, when I was working early voting and during the election, you campaigned with positive integrity and grace for setting such a wonderful example of the democratic process for our children that even if we don't win, we still have won when we treat each other with respect. So Mr. Weaver, thank you for coming on when Mr. Cunningham passed away and giving us your time. Helena, how many years? 4 years, sacrificing your job, putting that on hold while you worked and volunteered all those hours. Stacy, my goodness, you know, you have kids, y'all have young kids, and y'all have worked so hard. And Dr. Brown, who is just a delight, who embodies the spirit of our school system. I want to thank every one of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm a current student at Pinecrest High School. I'm a senior, and I would like to use my time to thank Ms. Miller, Mr. Weaver, and Dr. Brown for everything they have done. It was it's amazing how you guys all came together, worked together so well with the Board of Commissioners and the community, and accomplished so much, including building the new schools. On top of all that, you guys had to deal with COVID. You guys did an amazing job creating the virtual academy, which gave the peace of mind to students like me who have medical conditions that we didn't have to go to in-place school and risk getting it. And I was really worried about the virtual online because I've done online school in the past and it's not been the best for me. And we called the school board and we talked to Miss Miller, and she was great, and she reassured me that I would still have my accommodations and that I would graduate on time, and made sure that every student had the needs that their needs addressed. And I'm so sorry that you guys won't get to continue all the work that you put into Momentum. I would like to challenge the new school board members to respect and listen to the students and pay attention to our needs, not to talk over us. On behalf of the Moore County students, thank you for all what you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Next, we have Emily Richardson and Jen Ray.
Good evening. I'd like to start by thanking the entire board for all of your hours and dedication and service to Moore County Schools. But I am here tonight specifically to thank our 3 exiting board members. I am here tonight to speak as a parent, a mom of 3 Moore County Schools students, to say thank you to those exiting board members, John, Helena, and Betty. Thank you for your dedication, your countless and sometimes thankless hours of service. You all tackled enormous needs and issues here in Moore County Schools, and thanks to your perseverance and dedication, we have 4 beautiful, safe, new schools for our elementary students and an expanded facility at North Moore. While you all have achieved countless other successes during your tenure here on the board at Moore County Schools, those 4 buildings will stand as a testament to your determination to move forward in providing a first-class education for all students here in Moore County. Because with each decision you made, you thought about the needs of all students here in Moore County and the staff, and that is appreciated by me and countless other parents. I thank you for your service and dedication to our school district. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Ray. I'm a parent to Courtney, my 9-year-old, and we're at Southern Pines Elementary. I too also wanted to give a few thank yous. I first want to say to Betty for your behind-the-scenes efforts at the state level to promote additional sources and funding for our students goes beyond without saying. You did it without the accolades, without many knowing what you were doing behind the scenes. And so I publicly want to acknowledge that, and I want to say thank you. To John Weaver. I did not know this until recently on Tuesday, but John was a friend of Bruce Cunningham's, and he filled Bruce's seat. And I will forever be grateful for the integrity that you brought to the seat, for stepping in when our kids really needed you the most. And I know that Bruce is watching, and he's very appreciative of you willing to make that sacrifice, to volunteer your time and to further education and the progress here in Moore County, so thank you. This is where it gets to the ugly cry. To Helena, your relentless pursuit of progress in education for Moore County goes beyond any words I can say. Your commitment to the bond campaign, the quarter-cent sales tax, and lastly, the redistricting efforts were remarkable. Your dedication didn't always make you popular throughout the county, but you refused to kick the can down the road and do the things that most desperately needed to be done. You left a lasting impression and a legacy in the 4 new schools that have been built for our children. Students like my daughter will now benefit from safe, healthy, and state-of-the-art learning. Most of all, thank you for the lasting impression you made on these young girls throughout the county. You had backbone, you did it with grace, compassion, and respect. You put yourself out there and exposed yourself to the good, the bad, and the ugly, but you did what was right and for the greater good of all the students in Moore County. I cannot think of a better role model, a tangible role model right here for all of young girls countywide. Thank you for that example for my daughter. We will never forget what you have done, and I will always be grateful for revitalizing that spirit in me to push forward in education for all students. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Madam Chair, that's all we have.
All right, that concludes.
Also, we did have one more speaker
sorry.
that was should have been on the list. Courtney?
It wasn't, but if she wants to speak.
She just wants to say thank you. Here you go.
Helena, Betty, and John, thank you for our amazing schools. Thank you for doing so much for us. I am going to miss you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Jen, what is her name?
What's your name?
Courtney Ray.
Courtney. Thank you, sweetie.
All right, that now concludes public address. At this time, we will move on to board action. Action item A.
Madam Chair,
Where's
I'm at
Dr.
your service
Grimacey?
here.
Okay.
Sorry I missed my cue earlier. I was busy getting my YouTube channel set up here, and I missed my cue. You all look a lot better on YouTube than you do on my Google connection here. So, Madam Chair, I do want to absolve you of the responsibility of explaining my absence this evening. I had exposure to a family member that was later tested positive for COVID-19 about 9 days ago. My wife and I have tested negative since that time, but in accordance with our protocols and out of respect for the wise counsel of our Department of Public Health, I am quarantining the full period of time up until next weekend, but grateful to Kent Eklund and our IT support staff for allowing me to participate this evening. So, Madam Chair, without further ado, I will invite Mr. John Barath to come up to the podium to introduce these two board action items, item 6A and 6B. Mr. Barath.
Thank you, Dr. Grimacey. Good evening, board members. Tonight, the first item I have before you is the agreement for purchase and sale of the Aberdeen Elementary School. You recall during your work session last week that I presented to you the proposed language of an agreement for the sale and the purchase of the old Aberdeen Elementary School. We worked with legal counsel and of both sides of the Board of Education and of the purchaser, Pathfinder Investment Management, to bring to you the final version tonight attached to this executive summary. As I mentioned last week, there were some minor tweaks that had to be done to it for some languages throughout. Those have been shared with the board, and the revisions that were made do not impact the substance of the original draft in any way. And so tonight I present to you the final version for decision by the Board of Education, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
All right, do we have questions for Mr. Barath or Dr. Grimacey?
I have a comment, John. I just wanted to say thank you for being patient with all my questions last week, and I looked over the contract, and I really appreciate every detail that you guys had in there, and it looks good. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there other questions?
Madam Chair, I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, we've been working on this for a long time, so I just wanted to do a little bit of a history lesson, if you'll give me a few minutes.
Certainly.
You know, to understand the need to sell this property now, it is important to recall some of key dates and key facts about why the board is moved to sell these properties at this time. And thank you for letting me go back, way back in time. I'm going to go back actually all the way back to December 5th, 2016. Upon direction from the board, staff conducted and presented a detailed study of each property owned by the schools and itemized facility improvement needs. And that was Mr. Barath who brought that to the board at that time. It looked like this. It was very long and very big. The initial accounting looked at all 23 schools and central services offices and identified a total of $72 million worth of ongoing facility needs that were outside of the master facilities plan. And remember that the master facilities plan were the 10 items that we had voted on to, you know, major rebuilding with the elementary schools and our high schools and such. This document that we have called, what did we call that? That was the sustainability plan. Is that right, Mr. McGrath?
That is sustainability improvements at existing facilities.
We had a long name. That's all I remember. This document covered the approximately 100 buildings, 2 million square feet, and 841 acres of land that is owned by the school board, and all the facilities that we must maintain on a regular basis. This document, at least for our board, was the first time we had seen at what years of deferred maintenance had impacted each of our individual schools, what was left, because what's in this document is an itemized accounting of every school and what their needs were. And I believe there's like 60 pages in here. 60, how many? 61, lots of pages. And examples of maintenance needs in here included replacement of boilers, roof repair and replacement, fixes to window systems and mechanical systems that were nearing end of life, security cameras and alarms that needed to be installed because of new security measures, replacement of air conditioning units, plumbing needs, technology infrastructure upgrades, all of that. And I think you identified in here that the average life cycle of many of our building systems are about 20 to 25 years. So you were looking out into the future in this document. In addition to identifying what these $72 million worth of needs, the board then discussed at a subsequent meeting how we were going to plan financially to conquer these needs in a planful way. And we decided to do that over 20 years, that we certainly could not reach those $72 million worth of items within a short period of time, but we could conquer them in 20 years. And the plan that laid out required an investment of $3.5 million a year, each year, over 20 years, with a larger investment planned in the middle of it. I think it was 2024 or 2026, there was going to be a bond issue or something that we had recommended to look at. And then as a reminder for those that are here, that the board at that time and currently only receives funding from two sources to fund any of our maintenance or our capital needs. And one is from the county commissioners. We receive $750,000 a year from them to do with our capital needs. And then the lottery provides somewhere around $850,000 a year, depending on the year, but we are capped at how much we can get from the lottery. So the total annual budget that we normally have to manage any maintenance and facility needs identified in this document is only $1.5 million. Therefore, there's a $2 million difference between the $3.5 million that was identified yearly needed to make the maintenance plan work and what we actually had. So there was a $2 million deficit. The board, as you all recall, we have made this an annual budget request to ask for additional capital funding from the Board of Commissioners specifically for these maintenance needs. For the 4 budget cycles that we have made these needs known, we have not identified a consistent funding stream to pay for any of it. The gap has therefore grown over these 4 budget cycles, $2 million each year to a total of $8 million. I will say we did get a surprise $2 million over the summer from the county commissioners, so that gap, you know, in the past 4 years that we have looked at this list and updated it annually, I suppose this gap that we're missing is about $6 million just currently, right? So for their part, the county commissioners have made it very clear during their board meetings that they have expected us to use the sale of the proceeds from the sale of these properties to be able to support these maintenance and sustainability needs. So another important date was almost a year ago. So every year after that initial time you updated this list for us and the board requested that. A year ago on December 9th, 2019, the Board of Education passed a resolution, which we subsequently updated in February, outlining that these schools were surplus and spelled out our intent to use these funds for ongoing maintenance needs. And the resolution states, whereas the board finds as a fact that it is in the best interest of the Moore County schools to avoid maintenance and other costs, as well as to the administrative burdens and potential liabilities associated with the board's ownership of the surplus property, and to sell each site that is part of the surplus property for its fair market value such that the proceeds of the sale will be used as maintenance and capital outlay to cover some of the school system's many pressing maintenance and capital needs. In other words, we were very clear that because of the direction we had received from the county commissioners, that we were to use the sale of the proceeds to help us with this $2 million a year gap that we have. Are you all following? I'm almost done, I promise. Okay. On February 2nd, 2020, the commissioners approved a motion declining our offer to acquire any of the properties and asserted the need to use the school sale proceeds for maintenance and capital needs. So they were in agreement with that. On August 3rd of this summer, the board received notification that we'd received an offer for the purchase of Aberdeen Elementary School, and the following week we voted to open the upset bid process. On September 8th, the board directed staff to go ahead with the property sale, or with the upset bid process. Finally, today, because of our pressing maintenance and capital needs and our intent to use the proceeds from the sale to support these needs, I personally have no concerns about accepting the offer that's in front of us, particularly since it's above the appraised value. You know, we're not in any business to serve as landlords to these properties or to hold on to them, and I understand that the town is not so pleased that it's already some of the fact that we're not landscaping as we have normally done when we have had students there is starting to become a little, I have driven by it, it's become a little overgrown in certain places, I'll just say that. And secondly, it is so important to me that we figure out a way to attack this list more than we have been able to attack, because this list is not going away, and in fact it's growing each year that we continue to look at these maintenance needs that are not being able to be met. Given the favorable real estate climate right now and our need to divest of these properties so that they don't deteriorate any further, I'm in agreement to proceed with the sale of this school so that we can do our duty and fund the ongoing capital needs we have before any additional accumulated deferred maintenance costs lead to the failures in the rest of our buildings. You know, I know this is my last business meeting, and what I do want to say is, you know, obviously the board in the future will have to make some decisions about how to proceed with this, and I just urge you all to really figure out a way to have consistent funding for this list, because we do not want to be in a position where we were a few years ago, where our buildings were at such a point that it became urgent. So I just urge the next board and you all that are still here to continue advocating and figuring out a way to have a consistent funding stream for this, and at the very least, selling these buildings will help us close that gap so that we can make some of these, you know, really needed repairs as soon as possible. I just wanted to remind you all of that history, so thank you.
Thank you for that refresher. Are there other comments or questions? All right, seeing none. I think, Mr. Nissen, do you have comments you'd like to make?
No, ma'am, I was going to make.
Okay, hold on just a moment. I was going to say, I appreciated walking back through that. Living in a very financially healthy county, it is just a shame that we continue to have to put off the maintenance needs and major capital repairs that continue to be evidenced within our schools. And we definitely do not want to return to a point where schools are not safe for our children. So,
Madam Chair, with that, I will remind you that the superintendent does have a recommendation that might make Mr. Dennison's job easier.
Okay, but I'm just going to add that taking it to heart, the commissioner's mandate, not exactly a mandate, but the commissioner's suggestion that we proceed with the sale of schools and that we then return the profits from the sale of schools to capital needs within our school system has become very clear. So, Dr. Grimacy, would you like to make your motion?
Yeah, Madam Chair, my recommendation is that the school board consider a motion to approve the agreement of purchase and sale for the old Aberdeen Elementary School with Pathfinder Investment Management, LLC, in the amount of $1,500,000.
So moved.
All right, motion by Mr. Dennison.
Second.
Second by Ms. Caldwell. Other questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries 7-0. All right, we will now move to item B, offer to purchase Aberdeen Primary School.
Madam Chair, as I turn it over to Mr. Braff, John, if you just permit me, I'll go ahead and open with the superintendent's recommendation on this, Madam Chair, with your permission.
Yes, sir.
Doing the best I can to see you all. I've got sort of a fuzzy picture on the left, and then the one on YouTube is kind of distant, so I can't read your nonverbal cues as well as normally. But my recommendation with Mr. Barath's availability to answer questions is as follows. That the school board would consider a motion to accept the offer to begin an upset bid process to approve the award of bid for the acquisition of the Aberdeen Primary School in the amount of $120,000 to the Pinecrest Wrestling Club Sandcats, and to authorize staff to proceed with posting of the bid for an upset bid process. And now I'll turn it over to Mr. Barath.
Mr. Barath.
And with that, I am available to respond to any questions you may have regarding this. The process is very similar that you had already reviewed and authorized for the old Aberdeen Elementary School, and that's all contained in the summary, the executive summary language there.
I wanted to go ahead and make it really clear that Pinecrest Wrestling Club Sandcats has nothing to do with Pinecrest High School. And I know there's been some confusion in social media about that, but the two are very separate entities. It may be that some of their wrestlers eventually go to Pinecrest High School. However, we are not involved with the wrestling club. Are there questions for Mr. Barath? Ms. Wallen-Miller, do you have a history leading up to this one?
I'll just say ditto.
This falls into the same category with our previous decision in that we have a school property which is no longer necessary, a school property which is in need of very much attention. It is 6 acres there, I believe, and is in one of the oldest campuses within our Moore County system. Are there any other comments? All right, we will come back to Dr. Grimacey's recommendation. This would take us into the upset bid process. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that the board accept the offer to begin an upset bid process to approve the award of a bid for the acquisition of the Aberdeen Primary School in the amount of $120,000 to Pinecrest Wrestling Club Sandcats, and to authorize staff to proceed with the posting of the bid for an upset bid process.
Okay, Mr. Dennison has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Dr. Brown. All those in favor?
I have a comment.
Mr. Weaver.
Before we vote. I recognize that fair market value is not based on an appraisal or a tax assessment. However, I believe that this initial offer could be substantially below what should be accepted. That said, I'm willing to let the upset bid process go forward, fully knowing that the board is under no obligation to accept the result.
And that is correct. This simply begins the upset process, and then the board will have the authority to accept or to deny the purchase of the property. All those in favor? I'm sorry. Did we get a second? Yeah, we had Dr. Brown's second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the motion carries 7-0. Before we let you out, Mr. Barath, can you run us through very quickly how this will be publicized and what we might expect to hear?
Yes, I am happy to. We will publish this in the News and Observer circulation as well as here locally. We will put it on our website for the schools, and we will work with the broker to make sure this is sent out to other potential investors for the property. And we will be back to the board at its December work session to report back on the process.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Barath? All right, seeing none, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, is there a superintendent's report?
There is, Madam Chair, with your permission.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair and members of the board, it is my pleasure to introduce 3 members of the Moore County Schools leadership team who have joined our district since the COVID-19 shutdown interrupted your in-person meetings last spring. First, I would like to introduce Mr. Julius Dockery as Moore County Schools' new Director of Transportation. And I am not there, so I'm assuming you either have his picture or you have him there. Okay. All right. Mr. Dockery joined us in July. He comes to us from Scotland County Schools, where his career in transportation began 20 years ago. He began as a part-time bus driver and went on to rise through the ranks as TIMS coordinator, driver supervisor, and assistant director before serving as Scotland County's director of transportation. His hard work, willingness to learn new things, and his ability to get things done has earned him the respect of his colleagues and staff in both Scotland and Moore County. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Julius Dockery.
Welcome, Mr. Dockery.
Welcome, Julius. Second, I am delighted to introduce Ms. Donna Gephardt as Moore County Schools' new Director for Curriculum and Instruction. Most recently, Ms. Gephardt served as Director of English, Language Arts, Social Studies, Gifted in the Arts with Richmond County Schools. She is no stranger to Moore County Schools. Ms. Gephardt began her career in education in 1992 as a 7th grade English, Language Arts, and Social Studies teacher at Aberdeen Elementary School, had middle school grades there at that time. She later taught at West Pine Middle School before serving at the district level first as a lead teacher for social studies and AIG, and later as a specialist for advanced studies, arts education, and 9 through 12 social studies and English language arts. She holds a master's degree in school administration and curriculum and instruction, and a Master of Arts and a Bachelor of Science in elementary education, all from UNC Pembroke. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Donna Gephardt.
Let me add that Ms. Gephardt is here with us, but you may not be able to see her at home, as we could see Mr. Dockery before. But welcome, Ms. Gephardt.
Thank you.
Grateful to have Donna coming back home with us. And finally, I'd like to introduce Ms. Lisa Kaiser as Moore County Schools' new School Health Programs Manager. Ms. Kaiser most recently served as the school nurse at Pinecrest High School and as a resident nurse at St. Joseph of the Pines. She has worked at all school levels, including multicultural and inclusion classroom settings, as well as in hospitals, doctors' offices, and nursing homes. She has a proven ability to create a trusting and cooperative environment that fosters physical healing as well as social, emotional, and spiritual growth. Ms. Kaiser has a Master of Science degree in education and 2 Bachelor of Science degrees, one in nursing from Lycoming College and the other in health from the College of St. Francis. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Lisa Kaiser. Okay, my sound is off. Thank you, Lisa. We're glad to have you. Please wave if you can hear me, because I've lost sound. Somebody wave. Okay, good. You're hearing me, so I'm going to continue. Let me close by expressing my deepest gratitude to Ms. Wallen Miller, Dr. Wells Brown, and Mr. Weaver. On behalf of our 1,800 employees and our 12,600 students, I offer our most genuine compliments on the achievements we have shared during your terms of service. Thank you for your service, your sacrifice, your vision, and for serving as role models for servant leadership. It has been my own distinct privilege to have served with you. Accept our hope that you will rest and then rediscover your devotion for public service, and that you and your family members will know good health and prosperity in all of your endeavors to come. Please join the audience in showing our gratitude one more time for Ms. Wallen Miller, Dr. Wells Brown, and Ms. Miller. That concludes the superintendent's report, Madam Chairman and members of the board. I remain at your service.
Thank you very much, Dr. Grimacy, and welcome to those new employees. We're delighted to have them either back in Moore County or starting out in Moore County. So it's a pleasure to have our new ones. At this time, I think Dr. Grimacy's final words there probably lead us into more tears. We will now go to board comments. Ms. Caldwell. You have comments?
Yes, I do. In December, we will lose 3 amazing board members, Helena, Betty, and John. Helena and Betty, I hope you take some time to look back at all of our accomplishments since 2016. We have conquered the hard issues that no other board would tackle. I'm not sure we knew exactly how much this job would take away from our everyday lives and families, but we accepted it as we were determined to make Moore County Schools the best it can be. John, you came to us due to the loss of Bruce Cunningham, and I know he would be so proud of the way you filled his shoes. The way you came in and didn't miss a beat, one would have thought you had been with us for 4 years. Redistricting, funding for our schools, college promise, building new schools, and continuing to build relationships with community members is just a few of the things that we all have accomplished, and it could not have been done without you 3. I hope you sit here tonight and realize how much your worth was to Moore County Schools. We are going to miss everything that each one of you brought to the board. Helena, knowing all the data and facts in your head, I don't know how you do it. Betty, knowing policies and having her background knowledge of education, and John, bringing his 44 years of business knowledge, will surely be missed. I just want to, my voice is shaking. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being open-minded, a great listener, professional, and a team player. Thank you for being you. I will miss you all, but I will continue to have lasting friendships with each one of you. Thank you.
Mr. Dennison.
Thank you to Helena, Betty, and John for your service to our students. I appreciate the many hours each of you has spent to improve our district, and you succeeded. Our 2020 graduation rate was the highest it has ever been in Moore County, and our career and technical education program was one of the best in the state. The performance of our economically disadvantaged and minorities was significantly improved, as evidenced by our graduation rate of 93.5, and that our Black students and our Hispanic students both have graduation rates well above the graduation rate for all North Carolina public high graduates. Let me repeat that. Our Black graduation rate and our Hispanic graduation rate were well above the average of every single high school student that graduated in North Carolina last year. This shows with your leadership that we have been able to improve the education of all our students. Thank you very much, and you will be missed. And I have a couple other comments. These are the reasons I voted to approve the recommendations for the Aberdeen primary and Aberdeen elementary schools. In January 2021, our deferred maintenance and improvement needs for these 2 schools, if we would choose to use these properties in the future, would be well over $7 million, and the cost would be increasing over $300,000 a year. Both properties have very limited acreage and are too small to be considered for a new middle school. And plus, we need several $1 million for the maintenance and capital improvement needs for all our other schools. Student reassignment plan. Our primary reason for revising our students' assignment plan was to better utilize the space in our schools. We narrowed the range of utilization for elementary schools from 56% to 32%. That means that they're much more well-balanced. And for our middle schools, from 83% to 22%. And our high schools from 61% to 55%. As you can see, there were significant improvements to our school usage. Because there were comments from those not happy with the reassignment process that thought we were either moving students from higher performing schools to lower performing schools to improve that school's overall performance or to lower the minority percentage in our schools, I offer the following information. For our elementary schools, the range went from the old plan, 51%, to 50% for the new plan. For our middle schools, went from 41 to 33, and for our high schools, went from 14% to 15%. And you can see that there was very minimal change in the minorities. The performance and ELA range for our elementary schools went from 34% to 33%. For our middle schools, went from 29% to 27%. And for our high schools, went from 11% to 12%. This information clearly shows that our primary reason for the new assignment plan was to better utilize the space in all our schools for the next 10 years. You can review this information for our approved student reassignment plan on our website for our October the 14th, 2019 board meeting agenda on the item is amended multi-year student assignment plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Weaver.
Thank you. A little over a year ago, I was honored by an appointment to this board, and it's been an honor to have served. I'm very proud of the successes of Moore County Schools, successes like achieving the highest graduation rate in the state for schools graduating 700 or more students, a significant increase in our career and technical credentials, being recognized as a state leader in STEM instruction, and a steadily increasing passing rate in the Career and College Promise program, to name just a few. I'm also proud of the completing construction and opening McDeeds Creek and Aberdeen elementary schools, and the nearing completion of the Southern Pines and Pinehurst elementary schools, and the upgrades to Northmore High School. Completion of these projects provides a safe and secure campus for our students and staff, and establishes a modern and excellent learning environment for all those that will walk through the doors of these schools for decades to come. I feel the district's response to the COVID pandemic was appropriate for getting students back in the classroom in a safe, measured, and responsible way. But I'm most proud of the success our students achieve each and every day in working toward reaching their full potential and preparing themselves to be successful in life. I'm grateful for the leadership our superintendent has demonstrated and the professionalism exhibited by the staff, principals, teachers, and countless other employees that make each day a success at Moore County Schools. I'll end by wishing the new board success as it faces the many challenges that will arise for Moore County Schools and to education as a whole in the coming months and years. My hope is that the board can work together for the betterment of the children of Moore County who represent our future. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Brown.
These are probably the fewest words I've spoken. It's been my honor to serve on the Board of Education of Moore County Schools over the past 4 years. I knew when I first submitted my name in December of 2015 to run for this office that there was a lot of work that needed to be done, and that it would take a team effort to accomplish even a few of them. But that's what we did. We worked as a team to accomplish the goals that we had set and went beyond some of those goals. There have been many working days and sleepless nights that occurred over these years, but they have been worth it to see that our students are safe and our teachers are able to feel good about their profession, teaching. I was a strong promoter for education before I became a Board of Education member. I am a strong advocate just from a different position as a Board of Education member. And I will continue to work toward what is good and right for the students and teachers in Moore County Schools as they engage and inspire our students to succeed. Thank you to all who have supported me through this journey, and I look forward to the next steps in this venture.
Thank you. Ms. Wallen Miller.
I wrote an essay.
Dear.
That's appropriate, right? Oh, I'm going to start by saying how touched I am for those that are here today and for those who spoke. When I was first appointed to the board in June of 2015, I really had no idea how long I'd be able to serve or what I'd be able to accomplish. Reflecting back on this board service, I'm really in awe of all of our achievements for our students, staff, and the community, and many of them you've already talked about. I recall an early conversation with Bruce Cunningham within the first few days of my tenure. He was working on an article for Sand and Pine, and we talked about what was needed in the immediate future. Remember, this was June of 2015. And he asked me, where should the board focus? And that discussion yielded initially two main objectives that he wrote about in that article. First was the focus on teachers, as they would directly impact, their satisfaction would directly impact teacher retention, affecting teaching practices and student success. He really understood how important it was for us to turn our attentions to our teachers. Second, we identified the need to make some movement on this master facility plan. We needed to find a way to work with the commissioners. We needed a way to start making progress through each and every one of these items on the list, and we needed to figure out how to do that. Lastly, given that I had begun my work on the board before I joined the board as a parent interested in budget issues, I added a third item, which didn't make it to his article, but was definitely at the top of my mind, which was to ensure the fiscal health of the district, given the years of unfunded mandates and declining funding from the state. We needed to simultaneously increase our revenues somehow and decrease expenses at the same time in order to remove our reliance on the fund balance. When I look back at all that the board has accomplished over the last 5 years, I'm really impressed at what we've done. We increased teacher satisfaction by 9 points, going from the very last in this region to practically the best, the second best. We did this by giving teaching tools, training, and support to the leaders, to our teachers, so that they could be leaders in the classrooms and in their own schools. They are our biggest asset, and recognizing the importance of their job satisfaction and that relationship to student outcomes is something I am very proud of. Obviously, as what you've heard today, we've made significant progress on the master facility plan, and just a very short history, tiny, I promise. In 2015, we approved the 10 projects. In 2017, we worked with the county commissioners to fund 2 of those projects through limited obligation bonds. In 2018, we helped pass a $103 million bond referendum by 80%, or almost 80%, for 3 elementary schools, and we helped pass a 1/4-cent sales tax to support the debt service on those bonds. And now in 2020, we have held 3 ribbon cuttings, the 4th next week, and the 5th project will be complete in the spring. And that's pretty incredible. In addition to the progress on the master facility plan, we should also be very proud of the work we did to identify a plan to maintain the infrastructure of our remaining buildings. You saw me hold this up earlier, the sustainability plan. But having a school-by-school capital plan is a critical first step to ensuring our buildings last for many more years. So I am grateful for the work of Mr. Barath and this board and Dr. Grimacy of making sure that we focused on those schools. Moving away from capital for a minute in terms of the budget, we made many, many difficult budget decisions in order to reduce reliance on fund balance from $3.5 million when I first got on the board to 0. We made this by making difficult decisions, and I look at my 2 children here today, and one of those was removing the year-round program, which was something my husband and I, quite frankly, loved. We also got rid of the Spanish immersion program. We cut positions at central office. We reduced energy consumption, much to the chagrin of many teachers when we removed the refrigerators from their classroom. I'm so sorry, but that saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars. We rearranged bus routes. We did all of this to get more efficient and ensure that we were spending the dollars that we needed to all across the district to support our students. We did all of this too while the state continued to pass unfunded mandates, removing flexibility of how we spent our funds, and cut specific funding categories, including our textbooks. While we had much success in managing our financial house and also the physical plant house, I have to say that I'm most proud of the growing successes of our students that we've had during the last 5 years. And this was all based on making sure that we had the appropriate investments for our students. You've heard Mr. Dennison talk about this incessantly, and I'm quite proud of the fact that our graduation rate is the highest in the state for larger school districts. It is astounding that we have come this far in such a short period of time. We raised that just by 6 points in the last 5 years, but even before that it was much lower. So I'm just so grateful that we are where we are now. We are graduating students who are college and career ready. In 2015, we had 634 technical certifications and only a 68% pass rate at Sand Hills Community College. In 2020, we had 3,923 technical certifications and a 93% Sand Hills Community College pass rate. That's astounding progress in just 5 years, and I think that is specifically about investments that we have made at the high school level to make sure our students taking college courses are supported. For the North Carolina Accountability Growth Measure, in 2015, only 60% of our schools met or exceeded growth. In 2019, 75% of our schools met or exceeded growth. And the bottom line there is that we have seen thus a 25% increase in our growth measure. We've also seen that Moore County students rate better than the state average on many metrics. We are 9 points above the state average for Read to Achieve, which is a third grade reading measure. We are 6 points above the state average for our graduation rate. We are 4 points above the state average for the ACT and 9 points above the state average for the ACT work keys. And I forgot to add here, but I'm going to add it now, we're 4 points above the state average for teacher satisfaction. And where we had started there was way below state average. While my tenure on the board is not over until my successor is installed, this is our last business meeting together, so I'd like to offer some thanks. To all the students that I've had the pleasure of meeting, it has been an honor to attend your performances, watch your games, see you in class, as well as competitions, and cheer all your successes and help you as you struggled. You inspired me to do the work each and every day, and I'm excited for each and every one of your futures. To all the parents, teachers, and staff who have entrusted me over the past few years with the significant honor of serving on your school board, I am indebted to your passion, and I will continue to serve in your corner as a concerned citizen and as a proud parent. To Dr. Grimacy, senior staff, and other members of the Board of Education, it has really been an honor to serve with all of you during this time. The accomplishments I listed above did not come easy. We certainly did not always agree on how we were going to get there. But we always kept what was best for our students and staff at the heart of each and every one of our decisions. And I value each of your input and your passion. And I am so grateful to have served alongside all of you for this wonderful community. And last but not least, to my family and friends, you have given me the time and the support to do this work over the past 5 years. I am grateful for your love and for your faith and for your patience with the extensive time commitment it has taken. Chris, Will, and Evie, I'm so sorry that I was away for so much, but without your support, I could not have done this and served our community. And so you, all three of you, I am grateful for really your patience with me. And thank you for giving me the space to do this work. I'm not sure you want me back home this much, quite frankly. We might need to talk about that later. You really have suffered the most during this time as I focused on the needs of the 12,700 students and 1,800 staff. Thank you for giving me this space to serve. And I do also see so many of my friends here, and I appreciate the fact that you will pick up the phone when I call, even though it's not very frequent. But I know you've always been there in my corner and supporting me and giving me the space to do what I needed to do. And for Moore County, I'll just say thank you. I'm forever grateful to have had this opportunity to serve this really amazing community, this fantastic school system. I am, and I will always be, MCS proud.
Well, obviously, I'm not going to follow that with any remarks, but I'm going to ask that our 3 outgoing board members come to the front of the stage. And Vice Chair Thompson, I believe you're going to speak on behalf of the board.
I've got some.
Now?
Now. Now.
These are gifts from your fellow board members. When I come over for lunch one day, I want my sandwich served on one.
Madam Chair, I'm going to begin while you're handing that out. I would like to begin by saying thank you to John, Betty, and Helena for your years of service on the Board of Education for Moore County School System. Each of you brought your own unique qualifications to make our board successful. As citizens of Moore County, each of you took your role as board members seriously to make decisions affecting the educational, safety, emotional, and mental welfare of our students. Meaning what they learned, what their educators they had, and what kind of facilities housed their classrooms. You were doing extremely long board meetings, reading through packets and pages of information to make a difference for our students. And I will skip all of the information in between because so much of it is repetitive with regard to things that we have accomplished. But I would like to end by saying again, thank you. 2 simple words, thank you. John, Betty, Helena, for your unwavering dedication, support, professionalism, as a member of the Moore County Board of Education, and ensuring our students are inspired and engaged with resources needed for an equal education opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you for bearing with us. We will be back for our next meeting on Monday, December 7th. It will begin at, I believe, at 5 p.m. with the swearing in of the 3 new members of the board. We offer them our congratulations and thanks for the many hours of service they're about to get started putting in. Bruce Cunningham was mentioned several times up here. in the course of the evening. When Bruce called me about serving on the board, he told me that I'd only have to go to 2 meetings a month.
He told me that too.
I'm waiting for that to start, because I don't think we've ever had a meeting that a month that just had 2 meetings in it. So
me that too.
yeah, he was a slick one there. Although every meeting has been well worth it. Anyway, so we are going to be meeting here again for our actual work session, because it is our organizational meeting. So we will be back here at Union Pines to impose on our IT staff to come back in and set up again as the students depart campus. That's December 7th. So with that, it brings us to the end of the evening. Mr. Dennison.
Madam Chair, I move the meeting be adjourned.
Is there a second?
A second.
All right, motion by Mr. Dennison, second by Mrs. Wallen-Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.